Well, hey there. I'm Sully, and as always, welcome into the Gun Club. Hope y'all are having a wonderful evening tonight. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, I see Mel has already arrived in the chat. Good evening, dear. I'm late, huh? Okay, well, we're supposed to start 10:35, so I'm pretty close. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but I'm pretty close. Not too awful terrible. Not as bad as it could be, I'll say that. Yeah. On the other side of that coin, been clipping some video, been having a little fun today. Have a couple of good laughs for y'all tonight. Definitely found some interesting clips over the last few days, so we're going to share out some of those and see what else we can get into, but give a minute or two for everyone to wander on into the room. I had actually planned on doing a show last night, but really didn't have much news, or good news at least, to share, so it was kind of nice to give it a day, see what happened, and got some good news in today, so I'll definitely take that one as a well needed day. So alrighty, who else we got in the chat tonight? Looks like we're live on YouTube and on Rumble, and the stream appears to be going out well. Good deal. Alrighty, well, we are doing the weekly update for April 3rd, 2024 on Wednesday night. Again, usually we do the Tuesday, but we're doing the Wednesday. So I guess you could say I'm maybe a day late. I'll give it that. I'll accept that one for criticism. How's that? First story of the day. This one comes out of beautiful, scenic Fayetteville, Georgia. Now, down in Fayetteville, Georgia, not Fayetteville, North Carolina, Fayetteville, Georgia, it's actually in Gwinnett County. I kind of wondered there for a minute. And, well, good morning, Mary. I see you've come in and joined us. Always nice to have you wandering on in the YouTube world, making sure our stream's going out to all our places and peoples and stuffs and things like that. But down in Fayetteville, Georgia, they had a little incident at the local Walmart. Now, I'm not picking on Walmart. I'll do that later. I'll save that. But they had a shooting incident that occurred, apparently, I believe it was last Friday, where a 19-year-old individual shot another 19-year-old. That individual ended up deceased, as well as a 9-year-old who was accidentally hit in the leg. The 9-year-old, fortunately, is in good condition, so that seems to be going well. The 19-year-old took off immediately after the incident. It apparently occurred right in the front entryway of the store and fled the scene. Now, I tried to get a copy of the police report on it. I couldn't. The interesting thing is, there are several, when the pictures, I could see bullet strikes into the ground. Now, if I'm shooting at someone else, chances are I'm shooting parallel to the ground at another person. So I'm kind of wondering if he shot him and he went down and he went over and put a few into him to finish him off. I don't know. I don't have the details on it. But, this is, young lives. We've got a 19-year-old shooter. We've got a 19-year-old victim deceased. We've got a 9-year-old who's wounded, but fortunately the child's going to be okay. And the 19-year-old shooter had a 19-or-something-year-old accomplice, as a female. She was picked up at the scene, arrested for basically accessory to murder. Their terminology is a little different in Georgia, but accessory to the murder. So it is what it is. But when you look at this whole thing, we've got 3 19-year-olds involved. How in the hell did this happen? Society-wise, you just got to wonder. Evening, Scott. Hope you're doing well today. But, 3 19-year-old kids involved. And it really, how many times do we see all these things of, kiddies, and kiddies involved in, well, pardon my language, but 50 Shades of Stupid. I don't know what's causing it. I don't know what's going on with it, but something's got to give with all this stuff. Now, again, the 19-year-old girl, she's picked up at the scene, arrested. I don't know what her bond status was. Was not no bond as of this morning. The 19-year-old shooter turned himself in this morning. That's kind of why pushed me to do this stream today, because he turned himself into the PD this morning and up in College Park, Georgia, and he's now in custody. He's murder, possession of weapon during a violent crime, second-degree assault, aggravated assault, bunch of other stuff. So, again, 3 19-year-olds' lives are all just turned, upside down. Absolutely upside down. And, for lack of a better term, 50 shades of stupid. I don't know what to tell you, folks. I really don't know what to tell you. Beyond that, I do have a little bit of good news. This one comes out of the great state of Virginia. Or should I say the Commonwealth of Virginia? I lived up there. I should have known that. But the Commonwealth of Virginia. Governor Glenn Youngkin. Now, the House and the Senate up there are both very Democrat-controlled. And they passed numerous gun control bills over this last session, about 30 of them. Governor Glenn Youngkin vetoed everything with the exception of 2. 2 out of 30 he signed into law. The other 28 he kicked with a veto. And it doesn't look like they're going to have enough to override his veto. The 2 he signed, one was a bill basically making it illegal to have parts to make a firearm into an automatic, such as an auto sear, a switch, or something like that. Honestly, it would have been covered under federal law anyway. This is a bill that criminalized something that was already illegal, so sort of a non-issue. The other one he signed is a bill that allows parents to potentially be charged for a child getting a hold of a handgun if they knew the child to be a danger. As y'all know, I preach safe storage a lot. I'm a big believer in safe storage. I'm a firm believer in part of my responsibility, y'all's responsibility, especially if you've got kids in the house, young kids in the house, is keeping your firearms locked up securely. I'm not saying it's got to be separate from the ammo in 2 different locked safes or whatever else. There are enough options out there these days, I know, because I've got a couple of them, that allow you not only to, the authorized person can readily access the firearm in moments, and the unauthorized person can't put their hand on the pew-pew, which is kind of a good thing. We have to at some point do something to deal with this. The leaving guns in the car, just doesn't work. So those are the 2 laws he signed. And again, he's getting a lot of grief and a lot of drama and a lot of hate from everybody because he didn't, sign more of them. He vetoed all these 28 great gun control bills. And again, we know as a general rule of thumb, most of these gun control laws are written by people with little, if any, understanding about guns. I mean, if they knew anything about them, they wouldn't have passed the auto sear stuff because that's already illegal under NFA anyway. So, number 2, they're great feel good as long as you obey the law. So, again, hats off to Glenn Youngkin for kicking down 28 of them, taking the heat, standing up and saying, no, we're not going to start restricting all the rights of the law-abiding citizens. How about we start, just dealing and restricting the criminals? So, for Glenn Youngkin, hats off, sir. Good job. That stuff. All righty. Now, I see Mel in the chat mentioning stop boxes. Yes, stop boxes, and they have the stop box locks for long guns like chambers on ARs. They've got the stop box, 2 or 3 different versions of it. You can wall mount it. You can nightstand mount it. They've got everything. Be responsible with your firearms, please. Because again, what do we get is people trying to take guns away from everybody. Now, I did say there was going to be a little bit of a giggle tonight, and there's definitely going to be a giggle tonight. When I was researching the shooting down in Gwinnett, I wandered through a bunch of stuff, and I was going through a lot of Gwinnett County law enforcement reports, and I happened to find this one. Now, this one was, well, let's just say a little bit of a different one here. Okay, thank you. Here is a little bit of a change of pace with the Gwinnett County situation. I'm going to show you this one. This was actually last week. I want you to see what you think with these cops here. Now, these law enforcement officers are dispatched out to a construction site. See how it goes.
Okay, it's like a tractor? Yeah. Okay. Any idea what he's doing? Stop. 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 Hey, stop.
I don't think he's stopping. And I don't think that cop knows how he's going to stop him. I got to laugh because, yeah, it's like he said there, stop. Oh, boy, this ain't going to be good. I think the patrol car is that white thing up on the screen towards the right-hand side there. So, yeah, see how this works out.
Individual who's driving a four-wheeler tractor is not stopping for me. There's no way of stopping this vehicle.
Hope y'all are getting the audio on this because it's great. He just called in dispatch. He goes, he ain't stopping for me, and I got no way of stopping this vehicle. Does anyone in the chat have an idea? How are we going to stop this vehicle? What's the only thing that's going to stop this guy? And yes, this is the modern reincarnation of, you said it, yeah, Marvin Rides Again. This wasn't Marvin, but it might have well have been. Yeah. Yes, Minnie, that's right. Killdozer Part 2. Marvin Haymeyer rides again. The Marvin Haymeyer Memorial Ride. Let's see what we can come up with here.
He's going to go on the main road.
I hope y'all are getting the audio on this because it's great.
Okay, so the Raptor machine, what is it? One of those things? How fast is it? They can get up probably about 30. Okay, got that. Wait.
Hell, if you got one out on the road, grab another one and chase it, right? They're basically trying to keep people away from him because they know they can't stop him. And he turns around on them there, and they're kind of wondering if they're about to be the next one from the Ride of the Killdozer here. But it gets better.
We're in front of Victory Road Church on Brook Hollow.
Hell, now we got them fighting. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, too. They're both fighting. This is like a Monster Machines game. I mean, I did stuff like this with remote control cars when I was a kid, but come on, this had to be fun.
This is unbelievable.
It just doesn't get any better than this. And this cop is exactly. This is Godzilla versus King Kong. Where do you go with this stuff? It's like, and it gets ends up here. Now, by this point, you've got the trash truck. Now, I don't know if the trash truck is a good guy vehicle, or if he's just in the neighborhood, or they just grabbed another truck and they've got this guy here and he's trying to flip him, and the cops are just screaming, flip it, flip it, flip it, flip it. He's trying. Oh, push it. Yeah, he flipped it. Yeah, and he ended up getting dumped out on the ground and put in custody. Oh, what would Sniper do? Yes, Mill, that was one of the other coworkers who was chasing him. The guy who stole the bulldozer was a former employee. The stole the front end loader was a former employee, and the guy who chased him was one of his former coworkers. So you just gotta love that. I don't know what Sniper would do. I don't know what I would do on that one. I love the idea of getting another one to chase him because it's about the only thing that's going to joust with him. Let's just joust on the highway with that thing. But yeah, they went back to the construction site and they asked the guy how fast he could get one. He said 30. He said, come on. And they escorted him out to where the first one was.
Yeah. Okay.
So here's he's like, okay, I ain't going to do nothing with that with my patrol car. He's out on the main road. So he goes back here and gets the other guy.
Your machine, what is it? One of those things? How fast is it? They can get up to probably about 30. Okay, drive that. Wait.
Yeah, so he grabs it and they go out there and chase him down with it. You just got to love that one. Definitely an interesting adventure down in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Because, I hadn't, that wasn't on my bingo card this year. Yeah. Scott, come on, admit it. You would love to be the employee. If you're at that job site and the cops tell you, yeah, come on, grab one of those things and let's go out and wreck another one of them. I'd be fighting someone to get in the, cab of that thing. But, maybe, but... he's pretty well protected up in the cab of that thing. I mean, the guy hadn't shot at anybody. There hadn't been a firearms discharge. So, I see where you're going. But again, that was just one of those moments of, tell me they didn't just do that. Because I watched the body cam and they were talking about, how this guy had stolen the thing. And I was like, okay, so I started watching the video. And then when I see him go get another one, I was like, oh, yeah. That's I like that one. That was a fun video. That was definitely a fun video. I know we deal with a lot of heavy stuff around here, and every now and then we need a laugh or a giggle or a little something amusing. And, I enjoy bringing you all that one. Next one is I've got a little clip, and you may have already seen this. This is out of beautiful, scenic Santa Rosa County, Florida. They had a press conference. There was a gentleman down there who broke into not one, but several houses. And in his little adventures of breaking into several houses, he, somewhere along the way, at least one of the homeowners managed to shoot him. And he was eventually found in another house. He had broken into several houses. And we'll be doing a little home security special coming up because we're seeing a lot of this stuff, but this is at the press conference, and the sheriff, he kind of spoke his mind.
As to the person, we don't know which homeowner shot at him. I guess they think that they did something wrong, which they did not. If somebody's breaking in your house, you're more than welcome to shoot them in Santa Rosa County. We prefer that you do, actually. So whoever that was, you're not in trouble. Come see us. We have a gun safety class we put on every other Saturday. And if you take that, you'll shoot a lot better and hopefully you'll save taxpayers money. So with that, questions?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That sheriff is getting a little bit of heat for that, but I absolutely adored that clip because it was so perfect. It was like, tell me he didn't just say that. And he did. So, yeah, we had to save that one. That's about like our dear friend Grady Judd down in Polk County, Florida, who, well, let's just say that he's a big believer in that also. He's the one who's known for his amazing press conferences. I'll try to get a clip off one of them some of these days. But, yeah, he definitely well respected. All right, yeah, I agree. We could listen to that one all day. Save the taxpayers some money. You'll shoot a little better, and you'll save the taxpayers some money. And it's like, and the reporters, like a couple of them questioned him. It's like, so you're saying you want, it's like, if he's breaking into someone's house, yes, I want them to get shot. It's the only way they'll learn. I'm like, ooh, ow, okay, good. Nice job. Yeah, we can cheer him on all day. All righty, onwards and upwards. We get to a little bit of, let's see. Let's talk about a good guy with a gun every now and then. It does happen. You'd be surprised. As a matter of fact, one statistic I was looking at the other day, do you realize there are over between, depending on how you classify them, 500,000 to 2.5 million defensive uses of a firearm every year in this country. 500,000 to 2 million to 2.5 million defensive uses of a firearm. Now, they said if you take all of the illegal use of a firearm plus suicide plus accidental death plus everything, you pile it all up, it's still 13 to 18 times the number that you'll see in the defensive uses statistic. Just interesting to sort of throw that one out there. I've been doing a lot of stats and data recently. We'll probably be doing a show on that fairly soon. This defensive use of a firearm comes from Monday of this week. A 33-year-old man was shot twice while allegedly attempted to break into a residence Monday afternoon while armed. The Bay City Department of Public Safety says the suspect was carrying a pipe, broke into a home. When he got inside, one of the residents shot him twice in the torso. Police found the suspect lying outside the residence with multiple gunshot wounds. An ambulance transported him to an area hospital where he was listed in serious but stable condition Tuesday morning. Now let's think from the homeowner side, from the resident side, I don't know if they own or rent or whatever. They're in their house, they're minding their business. This guy, for whatever reason, don't know why, drunk, stupid, high, both, all the above, decides they're going to break into the residence with a pipe. Now, I'm sure they could have called 911. They may well have called 911. I don't know. But when seconds counted, law enforcement was minutes away. They were their own first responder, and that was they found the bad guy outside with a couple of holes in him. Very nice, very nice. We'll definitely take that as a win for the good guys. In a second incident, this one occurred Tuesday morning of last week. Dayton, Ohio, I believe. One person was injured in a shooting Tuesday morning. Dayton police were dispatched to the block of Night Drive, reports of a shooting just before 8 a.m., 8 in the morning. The other one was 4:45 in the afternoon. This is not Oh Dark 100. Some of these criminals are brazen. They are gutsy. They are willing to come in when you are, home. They don't care. Let's see. Upon investigation, it was determined the suspect came over to a home uninvited, forced their way in, and assaulted the victim. The person inside the residence then shot the suspect. The suspect, who's now in custody, was taken to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, this one's Dayton, Ohio. All I can say is maybe their sheriff's department needs to hold some Saturday shooting courses, and we can save the taxpayers some money. The incident does, however, remain under investigation, but looks like a good shoot right now, everything they're saying. Those are two folks in their home, broad daylight, 8 a.m. and 4:45 in the afternoon. This is not even no dark 100. Yeah. Some of these criminals, again, are brazen. And we're seeing more and more of it. So, that's why we train. This one was interesting. It was also a Florida one. I figured we had done Georgia Man and we had done Georgia jousting with the heavy equipment. So, yeah, let's do Florida Man here. Melrose, Florida. A man from Gainesville was shot multiple times in the chest, as well as through a Bible, in a stand your ground shooting. Talk about stand your ground. Let's see if they use that term correctly. If they didn't, we're going to gig them for it. After sheriff's deputies say he harmed his baby and attacked bystanders. Putnam County Sheriff's Office officials say Jason so-and-so of Gainesville began behaving erratically earlier this week. On Thursday, relatives took his 3-month-old baby to a home in Melrose off State Road 21 near the elementary school. He met with the family and a DCF case manager at that point. Okay. He took his wife and the baby outside to get some air, and moments later, the case manager heard screaming. He was squeezing the baby hard enough that the child turned blue. He then began walking into the middle of the highway, stating he was God and was holding the baby and a Bible. I'm gonna fact check his claim. I don't think he is. Maybe wrong. Don't know. If it was you, sorry, but I'm not thinking it was you. Just I guess. A family member grabbed a shovel, tried to convince him to release the baby. He then laid down in the roadway on top of the child and the Bible. Eventually, he got up and the family member grabbed the baby. All right, good. We got the baby away from the nut job. That's always a good thing. Don't get the baby away from the nut job as quick as we can. That's a good thing. He then jumped on top of a vehicle. Let's see here. Several vehicles, including a work crew, stopped on the road to avoid hitting him. The crew attempted to hold him down, and the family member dropped the shovel. He then broke free from the work crew, and he grabbed the shovel. Okay, so he doesn't have the baby anymore, but now he has the shovel. I'm glad we got the baby away from him. I'm not glad he got the shovel. Don't put your shovel down. He then jumped on top of a vehicle and began hitting and cracking the windshield. He approached a man in a truck, opened the door. That's why we drive with our doors locked. Opened the door and began hitting and opened the door, began beating the man with the shovel, breaking his arm. The shovel then broke. Okay, you're driving down the road. Hopefully your door's locked. This guy's apparently wasn't. You pull up, there's all these vehicles stopped. There's a maniac running around with a shovel and a Bible and a baby and something. Eventually, the guy comes over to your vehicle with the shovel. Again, we should have locked our doors, but we didn't. And the guy opens the door and is beating you with the shovel to the point not only he breaks your arm, but breaks his shovel. Okay. Another person grabbed the broken shovel and was trying to hit the bad guy. The driver was then able to grab his gun and defend himself. As so-and-so approached him, holding the Bible, the driver then fired multiple shots, striking him in the chest. He was airlifted to a trauma center for treatment. The driver was taken to a local hospital for treatment of a broken arm and multiple cuts to his face and head area. The baby was taken to a pediatric emergency room. Sheriff's office is investigating the incident. Charges are expected for the bad guy. Deputies state, and I quote, "The driver clearly fired his gun in self-defense and no charges are expected." First of all, pretty much clearly self-defense, violent, armed, has already hit you with a shovel numerous times. You are suffering great bodily harm, and you put a few rounds to him. Fortunately, the child seems to be minor injuries, if anything. Unfortunately, there was a hole put through the Bible. Fortunately, the round hit the bad guy on the other side. I don't know what's going on in his mind. I don't know what's, again, I'm going to fact check his claim about him being God. I really don't think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. If y'all think he is in the chat, tell me. Yell at me, say no, don't think he was. But in the big scope of things, what do we have? Was it stand your ground? Yeah, pretty much. He was in fear of death or great bodily harm at a place where he had every legal right to be. We think about it again, that's that stand your ground. If you're in a place where you have a legal right to be and you're not engaged in unlawful activity, you have no duty to retreat, no duty to escape. And again, you have the right to stand your ground and meet force with force, which he did, and thus bad guy down, and we get the Mel response from there. More holes in bad guys. Yes. They talk about, a lot of these active shooters. 41% of the time, an active shooter is stopped by someone with another firearm. That's in gun-free zones. 68% if you're in a non-gun-free zone. What's the difference? I wonder. Alrighty, so that's our good guys with guns segment. Definitely, again, a couple of real good cases there. They're pretty much every one of those individuals. What did they all have in common? They were all just going about their life, going about their business, living their, day, whether they're driving down the road, going somewhere, or in their own home. But they were armed and they were able to be their own first responder. I'm sure the situation, if someone had shot him while he was making, yes. Mel has a great question here in the chat. If someone had shot him while he was making the baby turn blue, would that also be a good shooting? Okay. If the victim, i.e. the baby or the guy driving down the road, is innocent, they didn't bring on the trouble themselves, they didn't start the fight, I don't think the baby threw the first punch, So we say the baby's innocent, okay. Are they in imminent fear of death or great bodily harm? Well, the baby's turning blue. Yeah, I think we're getting to great bodily harm here. Not to mention the fact that the baby, he could pick the baby up. I mean, he could throw the baby on the concrete for all we know. This guy's out of control. Is that baby in imminent fear of death, great bodily harm? Yes. Okay. Looks to be pretty close there. Yeah. Again, you can use reasonable force. Now, what's reasonable? You may have to go hands-on, but at that point, depending on the distance and what's going on, size and strength, you may well be able to justify that, yeah, he's in the process of literally squeezing the baby to death. You'd have to make the case as far as the defensive shoot, but off the top of my head, I would be pretty close to saying, yeah, I'd pull the trigger on it, unless, if I've got 7 or 8 people there, then, I may be able to physically take him down. But, again, we'd have to make the case of the baby. There's unfortunately in a lot of these situations where you get in a gray area. We know what the rules are. If you don't, well, we can get you plenty of time with Dr. Bronca. But on the other side of that coin, you say, look, you make the decisions in advance a lot of times. How far am I willing to go? The kid's turning blue. If you don't have a way of getting the kid away from the guy, and again, if he's hyped up on something or you know him to be violent, that also comes into it. Did anyone else? I don't know. Can you hear me now? I don't think we lost sound. Someone let me know if we did. I see Scott's. Okay. Mel can hear me, so at least one person can hear me. Scott, try that little mute button down on the bottom. Usually that should work. What do I know? I could call my IT geek, but he's probably already in bed right now. probably drinking his warm milk and whining about his cat being mean to him or something. I don't know. Beyond that, let's see. What else we got? Yeah, I mentioned this earlier. I've been looking at a lot of statistics recently, and there's a lot of talk about how bad is violence getting, or how crazy is violence getting? And I saw this, and it really sort of jumped out at me a little bit. There is the U.S. homicide rate. So when you look at that, yes, crime has gotten better. We are now at 6.3 per 100,000 people. Murders, 6.3 per 100,000, down from 6.8 per 100,000. Now, the 6.8 per 100,000 has been the worst in, well, going back over 10 years. So when we look at 2019 to 2020, this is all during the lockdowns when everyone went batshit crazy for the pandemic. So, yeah, numbers are definitely, again, small improvement, but on the other side of that coin, even with that small improvement, definitely still a problematic number. So definitely one of those things that we've noticed. Let's see, Rumble's been acting weird. Yeah, I know Rumble acted weird on my phone earlier today, but wasn't really sure if it was my phone or me or what. But yeah, there's just, again, interesting crime statistic. Now, one other one that I want to throw up real quickly, and this one was, one of those days you just don't want to see these things, but this is the ages of the offenders, not the victims, the ages of the offenders. As in, how old are the kids who are committing murders? This is a 2022 statistic. So when we look at this, granted, the top one group between 20 and 29, about 5,200, 30 to 39, about 3,200, age 10 to 19 accounted for over 3,000 homicides. Now, when we talk about that, all I can say is, look, I don't want to hear he was just 14 years old, he was 15, he was just the baby. Why did someone have to do this, that, the other? Why did someone have to shoot him? Why they have to be so mean to him? Why they have to, tackle him and arrest him? What? He's just a baby. He's 15 years old. We'll send him to juvie jail. We'll sit down. We'll talk about his feelings. We'll hand him a coloring book, and we'll all try to figure out what's going on. I don't know. Well, at some point, when you have 3,000 murders by kids 19 and under, I've got a problem with that. And again, they're almost as violent, about 1.5 times as violent as the 20 to 29-year-old crowd. So again, these poor little angels, we just had a couple of 14-year-olds on shooting. We had the 19-year-olds, arrested for that shooting in Gwinnett. It is what folks, this is the world, and I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but when I see this, again, these are 2022 stats off the FBI website, Uniform Crime Reporting. When you see that number, I would have figured, maybe 1,000, but 3,000 homicides by kids 19 and under. So I guess we know why things are happening the way they are. All righty. Unless y'all have anything else, it's going to be a short show tonight. Definitely been a interesting night for that side. Hope you all have enjoyed it. I will be back probably Friday night. We'll do a Friday night Quora rant stream because I looked in there for the material today and there's just so much good material in there. So that's always a wonderful source of inspiration. And as far as, thoughts to leave you with, how about this one for tonight?
As to the person, we don't know which homeowner shot at him. I guess they think that they did something wrong, which they did not. If somebody's breaking in your house, you're more than welcome to shoot them in Santa Rosa County. We prefer that you do, actually. So whoever that was, you're not in trouble. Come see us. We have a gun safety class we put on every other Saturday. And if you take that, you'll shoot a lot better, and hopefully you'll save taxpayers money. So with that, questions?
Folks, be smart, be safe. Good night.